So it is going to the full screen now. So last class we have been discussing about the hybrid machining process. Hybrid process is basically, as you may be knowing, it is basically combination of two processes. Okay, and one of these processes can be either conventional process or sometimes unconventional processes also. So it is a combination of conventional or unconventional, or between two unconventional or two or more number of unconventional processes. The whole idea is to give a improved process, and at the same time the weak points of the process you reduce it, get rid of it in the new process. And again we have classified them based upon the interaction of the energy, involved energy, and okay, so that way we can have hybrid thermal processes, hybrid chemical processes, and also we can have hybrid electrochemical process. Okay, in today's class we will be discussing about hybrid electrochemical processes, and there will be many more processes which are possible under this cover. Under this, the whole idea of this, see at the center we have something all electrochemical processes based upon electrochemical dissolution of material. Like this is the center point. Okay, so from this, with this, either we can have, sometimes we are using ultrasonic waves to improve the process. Then it becomes ultrasonic, what you call ultrasonic assisted electrochemical machining, or you can have electrochemical machining assisted with a laser beam. Okay, so then we call it a electrochemical machining laser assisted. Then electrochemical machining assisted with some kind of a mechanical abrasion. Okay, so under this class of hybrid processes we can have electrochemical grinding, we'll discuss today first. Then you can have electrochemical honing, briefly we'll discuss today. And also you can have some of the super finishing processes, which will be a combination of ECM plus fine mechanical abrasion. And last but never the least, we have hybridization with the help of a fluid jet. Okay, so here actually we have process like electrochemical buffing and so on. Okay, so we can all different sorts of hybrid processes in the domain of hybrid electrochemical processes are possible. So first I will take only, there are too many processes, but I may take only few of them. Like I want to discuss about the something like a mechanical and hybrid ECM today, like electrochemical grinding, then electrochemical honing, and we'll be also discussing about the ultrasonic assisted electrochemical machining. And finally, of course, we will show you some process where we will be having more number of more than two processes are working together so as to give a new process, like something like a electrochemical discharge grinding, where we will find ECM, EDM, and mechanical abrasions takes place together. First, we will go to the electrochemical grinding process. Okay, so as I said, it will be hybridization of mechanical abrasion and electrochemical dissolution. So if you see, this is my job and this is the tool, and in between there is some mechanism involved which is removing the materials. Okay, so one side is the ECM, for which we have see, for every process we have some energy carriers we have some working media, we may have some tools. So similarly for ECM, it is chemical electrochemical dissolution. The media is electrolyte and the energy charge carriers are the ions, and it will be dissolved through this ion exchange between the tool, which is negatively charged, connected to the cathode, and workpiece will be connected to the anode. This is common for ECM process, and in between this zone will be filled up with electrolyte. But additionally, since we are making a marriage between the ECM and mechanical grinding, so somehow we have also the abrasive particles are involved, which gives this mechanical abrasions. Okay, and due to which some material, but media is same. Media will be only electrolyte only, under which this abrasion will take place. Okay, now for this, what we have a using a grinding wheel, which is somehow different what we use in a conventional grinding wheel. Conventional grinding wheel, typically we can have a, say, something like a ceramic wheel, like something made of aluminum oxide, alumina. Okay, and they will be bonded together by some means. Okay, maybe resin bonded this powder particles of alumina and given into shape. Okay, of a grinding wheel. Or sometimes we can have other material like carbides also, it could be there. Or sometimes on the tip we can have diamond embedded grinding wheel. Okay, otherwise it is say aluminum oxide wheel, but on the circumference we have very fine diamond particles which will be embedded, so that at the interaction zone you have a very hard particles. So this is about the conventional grinding wheels. Okay, but when we talk of a grinding wheel which will be used in ECM or electrochemical grinding, the wheel has to be conductive, because it will hold this negative charge. So what we are doing, we are taking a copper disc. Okay, and on the copper disc, could be a cylindrical copper disc, centrally it will be fixed somewhere, and on the again circumference, okay, we are embedding these abrasive particles, okay, or abrasive grids. So here we are putting some abrasive grids, okay, over the circumference of the wheel. Okay, now how these grids will be abraded? Maybe by some kind of a brazing, mechanical brazing or vacuum brazing. We can hold these fine powder particles onto this. Okay, we can have some kind of a mesh, net mesh. Then we put those particles there so that it is mesh size is slightly smaller than this abrasive particles. So once these abrasive particles are wrapped on this, and then we cover it with a mesh, probably they cannot come out. Now we try to braze it with this grinding wheel. Okay, and in a brazing furnace, so that this molten metal will flow in between the gaps. Okay, and they will remain there, and when the metals get solidified, so this metallic bond will hold these particles together. See, these abrasive grids are typically, they are irregular in shape. So there are chances of much better mechanical bonding with respect to the main wheel, but in between this metallic bond is doing this kind of gluing or adhesives. Means it's initially during the brazing process it was molten state, but once the heat source is withdrawn, it solidifies. But by the time this grids gets what do you call embedded onto the circumference of this wheel. So this is the peculiarity of this grinding wheel, which we will be using in electrochemical grinding or ECG in short form. Electrochemical grinding we are referring as ECG. Okay, So let me see how exactly this material removal takes place in electrochemical grinding process. Okay, so on this wheel, you understand, you got to have, for ECM process, the media is electrolyte. So this is how you flood the area with electrolyte. This is the job. After some amount of machining, this is in one go, this much depth is given. Work is moving from left to right. In one go, this much depth of cut is given. Okay, and this job is connected to the DC source, positive terminal, and wheel, the metallic wheel is connected to the cathode, negative terminal. Okay, and this is, suppose, assume it is rotating in the anti-clockwise fashion. Okay, and if the job is moving from left to right, okay, what will happen? You see on this entire wheel, this kind of abrasive grits, they are projected out. Okay, and electrolyte is getting flooded, but since it is rotating in the anti-clockwise fashion, even if it is this or in motion, the job, because of this rotation, the electrolyte is getting sucked kind of thing. They will be always flooding this area, and they will be pushed gradually inside, and they will be thrown out. I'm talking about the electrolyte. Okay, now here, depending upon the action, you see, have a careful look on this. The workpiece will try to encounter with the wheel. Question is there, will there be physical contact? Yes or no? If the job moves too fast, probably it will go and hit the things. But if we move it very slowly, and gap as such is slow, gap as such is very small, and if we give appropriate voltage, because of the small gap, ECM action in between, because this electrolyte is maybe a sodium chloride solution, so ECM action will start and this job will gradually get dissolved. Okay, but if the dissolution rate and the rate of movement of the job are balanced, so what will happen? Here we'll try to, this gap and this movement will have some kind of a equilibrium position, steady state positions. Okay, and you know, the smaller the gap, higher will be the rate of material removal rate whenever the gap, but if the gap increases, material removal rate also decreases. This we have studied when we have studied in the ECM process. Same is applicable over here. Okay. Now,
will there be mechanical contact?
Mechanical contact not on every location of the job. Only in the, you see, out of the entire possible area, out of this thing, we have identified 3 positions. 1, zone 2, and zone 3. What is happening? Zone 1 is basically something which is the wheel which encounters at the enter, and most of the material on the job will be removed during the phase 1. Now you see the profile of the job, the gap between the wheel and the workpiece, it is not uniform throughout this one. Initially it was large, but gradually as we go deep into these things, this gap closes down, becomes very close to the things. Why is it happening? Because initially whatever electrolyte is entering, that is very clear, filtered and so on, and continuously it will be driven and new electrolyte is entering. So here machining can go on without any hindrance, any interruption, because you get a clean electrolyte with full potential, the machining can be happen. Okay, and which direction the electrolyte is drawn? from this to it is going inside of the wheel. So as you go down, what is happening? The electrolyte becomes polluted, contaminated. Contaminated with what? Contaminated with the reaction products. What are those reaction products? Typically they are, if it is a ferrous material, they will be ferric hydroxides, which is insoluble, which is dark brown in color, and at very fine particles, like slowly this clean electrolyte will become turbid, okay, and they will become some kind of a brownish color, and if it is a concentration is too much, it will be somewhat something like a muddy kind of surface will be there like this. Okay, in a way, whatever may be the color, whatever may be composition, that may be fine so long as material removal is concerned. But because of the presence of this concentration of the reaction products towards the end of this phase 1, you see the gap has reduced. Why? The capability of removing material through the ECM action has gone down because of their presence. So from a larger gap, it has, because it has become very small, and almost it is about to touch, it is so small, it is about to touch the wheel. Not exactly wheel, the whatever is projecting out, it is the grids. Now the moment it touches that zone, we are calling it the phase 2. Phase 2. Now here the grids are typically non-conductive material, ceramics, non-conductive ceramics. Okay, so here even if they touch, there won't be any short circuit. Yes or no? Yes, there won't be any short circuit. So here from phase 2, what we expect, the grids already, there are some machine portions, okay, and it is further moving. So these grids are going to scratch against the workpiece, at least in this zone, wherever it is touching. This zone it is not touching phase 1, phase 3 is also, these grids are not touching. But a little angle, this phase 2, this arc angle is very small, but here they are going to get touched. And because of this, this would create a situation, something like a mechanical grinding. Okay, so these grinding actions will be maybe only for a small portions out of the entire amount of material removal, or the contribution of this type of grinding may be hardly around 10%. But major material is getting removed by the phase 1, which may be around 89–90%. Okay, so in phase 1 it is a pure electrochemical action. Phase 2, is it a pure grinding actions? I said mostly it is grinding actions, but you see, look at this bottom, there will be some electrolyte which is trapped between this two teeth or two grit. Okay, now this is wheel negatively charged and this is workpiece positively charged. So in between, because of the close proximity, some ECM action will take place. Okay, so maybe another 1–2% ECM may take place over here, but I can say almost 88–90% will be in phase 1. Phase 2, 10% maybe around through mechanical grinding, and maybe very little maybe through the entrapped electrolyte could be there little bit. Okay, and beyond this zone, again what is happening, the pressure inside the electrolyte is pressed over here, but the since from this zone again the angle, it is gap is opening up, so this electrolyte can again freely flow. Okay, and here actually, since there is no contact, in fact the material has already been machined. Okay, so this zone maybe some ECM action will be there, but those will be mostly about what? Polishing action, electrochemical polishing action that will be there in this. Okay, so what is the goodness of this polishing action in phase 3? This electrochemical polishing actions, because ECM action, the finish may be very good or non-directional. But whenever we have these grades, we have the mechanical abrasions created by the grease. So we can have some kind of a grinding marks on the created surface, which will some sort of a, we want to improve the surface further. So those grinding marks will be largely taken care of by the your phase 3 in the electrochemical actions. So this phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3, I think this is what is known now. Okay, this is what exactly I have shown you in a picture. Say out of this, material removed by ECM is almost 90% in this zone. You see how the gap has from a large gap, initially it is large, gradually it is becoming narrow and narrower. At some point, say onset of phase 2, the wheel is getting touched, wheel is touching the job up to this end, and from this point again wheel is unable to touch the job, only polishing action is happening. So this is grinding wheel which is rotating in the anti-clockwise, and this is the job. This is the job, okay, which is coming from the left to right, and this is how the electrolyte is entering in the gap and the electrolyte is exiting through this. So this is this small portion is removed by the grinding. From this zone to this zone, this is removed by the, from this zone to this zone, this is by ECM actions. And this zone practically no further depth, any further depth is not achieved. Only polishing of the grinding marks, probably it may help the finish that way. Okay, in the phase 3. Is it understood?
Yes, sir. But like, why does so much complexity arise? Like, essentially, we are trying. Like, we started with non-conventional because we didn't want contact, or non-contact type processes were very favorable. So why do we go back to 10% only? Like, it's grinding, right?
See,
Still now,
grinding 10, I'll tell you. Now coming up, what is the advantage of this process? Over, I could have pure electrochemical grinding where the wheel will brought very close to it and it will never touch. Means there need not have been any abrasive grids embedded on the wheel. Only a solid cylindrical disc, okay, made of copper. That would have, and if you have this kind of rotational plus the linear movements of the disc as well as the job respectively, we would have able to remove out the material, maintaining a small gap. But the problem is that what are the limitations of this process? See, limitation of the ECM process is with passage of time, okay, the reaction may tends to go down a little bit. Why? Because the ECM action is going to create on the job something, a process called passivation, a passive layers. So passive layers is basically a creation of a oxide layer onto the job, which hinders the normal ion exchange process at the anode. Okay, this is one thing. So if we have additionally some kind of a abrasive grids embedded and have this mechanical abrasion in this zone, what is happening? Continuously, whatever the passive layer that has been created, okay, that will be removed by mechanical interactions. Okay, so this disadvantage of the pure ECM can be taken out, and of course again by the third phase it will be again polished. See, as such the process is not very complex. Okay, process or the enforcing into a working machine is not all that complex. Thing is, you
Yeah,
have to
but like, the process is not very complex, but just I was thinking about the tool basically. The tool is very like they have to create ceramic abrasives on the
yes,
metal,
yes, yes.
right?
See, there are such kind of tools. Even if you use a diamond tools, okay, entire your grinding tool is will not be made of synthetic diamond. Only on the your circumference, okay, there this diamond particles will be embedded. That is during the conventional grinding tools also. So here through a special process, there are specialized manufacturer who makes this kind of tools. Okay, like if we want to have it, there are some manufacturer in India also who will do it for me and manufacture this kind of tools. Okay, so this will happen like this. So it's not all that complex. Specialized manufacturer can easily make this kind of tool. Okay, I need not have to. It is these are available in market. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So another advantage of this process, you have to understand how much how is different from the conventional grinding process and what is the involved cutting force. See, conventional grinding process, the contact arc is much larger. See, from here to here, the contact arc, entire area has been machined by the, and out of this contact arc, they are involved in grinding process. So lot of grinding force is important on the wheel. As a result of that, the wheel erosion is also at a larger rate. And sometimes time to time, what you will have to do it in order to, because you have to something called a dressing of the tool. There is a process called to dress the tool so as to reuse and reactivate it to its fullest potential. So is in conventional grinding, frequently we may have to go more frequently we may have to go for the grinding wheel dressing. Whereas for electrochemical grinding, this contact arc, you see this angle is much less. Okay, only this small arc where we have this contact. As a result, if you compare the involved cutting forces, here this contact force may be cutting force may be hardly 10% of this, because most of the material is removed by the in the non-contact zone through the ECM process. Okay, so as a result of it, this wheel will not erode so fast. So would you require the wheel dressing to be say so frequent as that is in the conventional grinding wheel? Answer is no. So this is also another advantage which we can have for the electrochemical grinding process. Okay. So let me move forward. So look at the process variables on electrochemical grinding. So process variables means some variables in the machine which you can control and which has a capability of changing the process, controlling the process, and by monitoring those variables probably, and we can take some corrective measures so that we can get our expected results. Okay, say for example, if we really work for a very low voltage, you can have less electrochemical actions, and maybe compared to ECM, your abrasive cutting may be more abrasive cutting with minimum deburring process. Okay, this abrasive marks may be there, and so like polishing actions that may be minimized also in those kind of things. And high voltage, if you go, so we can have more electrochemical actions, less abrasion exchange, but again there should be a limit to that, because if we go for a too high a voltage, say something typically the working voltage may be something around say 20-30 volt, but somebody is going for 100 volt. Okay, or 150 volt. Okay, so that case, since the gap is very small, we'll create a conditions for electrochemical discharge. Okay, so some kind of a arcing kind of situations may happen. Again, that will be a domain which we have to avoid. So somewhat on the moderate voltage, as I mentioned, we have to work in. About electrolyte flow, if we have enough, we should have enough flow so that it can create electrochemical cell at the point of cut and complete the process. Okay, and but too much of flow, it may remove metal beyond the desired area of cut. Okay, so sometimes again electrolyte also flow, we have to limit these things to avoid the stray cutting process. Okay, and what about the feed rate? Now feed rate in ECG process will be similar to creep feed grinding process. Say typically this value is around something around 15 to 100 millimeter per minute. Okay, so it will depend upon the size of the cut and the cross section of the material. Okay, so typically what we have in the machine, there is a servo control. Okay, typically a hydraulic servo, and a precise such hydraulic servo driven feed, it will be best for uniform cut and accuracy. So a slow feed allows more ECM actions. At the same time, it lowers the cutting forces. But if we opt for a faster feed, obviously the ECM action does not get so much of time to proceed. And since the contact remains the same, we can have increased amount of abrasion actions in the cut. So this obviously faster feed, somehow we have to minimize it and slow down the process to an acceptable level. Okay. So a very simple machine, but there are much bigger complex machines are there. This has been taken from this source. Okay. Here you see something. This is the job holding device. Okay. One which why this job is mount, and on the top surface we want to grind. And you see the metallic disc is this one, on which the abrasive particles are embedded. Okay, so typically apart from the wheel type will be there, and here they will be moved to and fro, and this is rotating, and from left to right it will come again, come back, and again further your infeed will be given. Okay, and you see this is the source of the, this is the electrolyte tank. From there we can have a power supply and the voltage can be given. Okay, and this may be again a servo driven through which the movements can be controlled. So what are the wheel types? So apart from the standard metal bonded wheels, the electrochemical grinding wheels can also be made for aluminum oxide on copper in a conductive resin board. But what I said, say this was the wheel. Okay, here actually this is metal bonded. Okay, so what if these grids are done by some kind of a adhesives? Can you use an adhesives? Answer is they are not always, but you can definitely do it provided your adhesive is conductive adhesives. What is and could be a conductive adhesive? Say many a times we use an epoxy. Now this within the epoxy will be typically two components. One will be hardener, another will be some epoxy, main epoxy. Initially both will be there in some kind of a one will be a liquid, another will be a viscous form, or both will be a highly viscous. We mix them together just like a mixing two different type of toothpaste. Okay, and the moment they are homogeneously mixed, they will start getting hardened, and maybe within 10, 15, 20 minutes they will be hard enough. Okay, so here such kind of epoxies can be loaded with some fine silver particles. Okay, and because of the silver particles presence, and if the silver loading into the paste is quite good, there may be some continuity of these silver particles which may carry the current, and this epoxy adhesives can be become conductive. So we may use this kind of adhesives to put together these grades onto the wheel. Okay, so that is what we mean by a conductive resin bond. Okay, we are putting across the wheels over here, and at the same time we can use a diamond particles. We can use cubic boron nitride, which is also very hard. We can have other ceramic abrasives, and they can be again bonded to the metal wheels through the conductive resins. Okay. Typically, machinability wise, how good in the ECG process? I think whole lot of materials I think it can do. For them, the materials, for some materials, material removal rate may be high, and for some cases material removal rate is not so high. See, whenever the current density is high, because as per Faraday's law, higher current density will create the higher amount of electrochemical dissolution process, is it not? So you see, from these materials, from aluminium, copper alloys, steels, titanium alloys, we can maintain a relatively higher higher current density for this. For other materials, intermediate current density, something like a HEST alloy, something like the WASP alloy, Inconel, nickel alloys, all these are actually used in the aerospace industry, super alloys. Okay, zirconium alloys, okay, they are this thing. Whereas for stainless steel, then tungsten carbide, like cobalt based alloy, like called stellite, then Rene, all this, it will go for the your low current density, and since the material removal rate is also low. And as I said, whenever you have a high material rate, obviously your feed rate can be high. And whenever you are having a low material removal rate, your feed rate is low. So this thing, you see, this is the color of the feed rate, this is the color of the current density. You see the feed rate and the current density, they are more or less matching. Okay. So this is how the response of different materials under when they interact in the ECG process. Okay. Now from here, application wise, ECG process will go for the difficult to cut materials such as sintered carbides. Then you can have different types of creep resistance alloying. Some of them could be our different grades of Inconel, then mnemonic alloys. Then you can also easily machine, as I said, the current density is high for titanium alloys. Then metallic composites, metal matrix composites, those you can very good for ECG process. A combination of chemical dissolution, electrochemical dissolution plus mechanical abrasions. Okay. Then removal of fatigue cracks from steel structure. Okay. And production of tungsten carbide tools. Say by powder metallurgy you have made some tools. These you want to give it into some shapes. So ECG process, you finish the tool, you can do it. Also you can grind wherever you cannot have too much of grinding forces, like for some material which is very hard and fragile or a very thin wall place. So you can opt for ECG process where imparted mechanical forces are also low. So there it can easily suit the materials. Disadvantages wise, I have already told you, mainly the corrosive nature of the electrolyte. Okay. Capital cost is of course higher than the conventional, but here actually after the machining is done, you have to thoroughly rinse the job. Clean the job repeatedly in multiple times. Clean the job, then spray some oil and all so that no rusting is there. And machine also, anyways, you are not going to use for continuously. You have to pass some, say, clean distilled water and clean the machines. Otherwise, machine next day you come and see the machine is getting rusted. Now, this is a process quite similar to a grinding process, but we are calling is a honing process, electrochemical honing, or in short form ECH. So what is honing? Honing is one step better finishing than the grinding process. So in honing, actually the abrasive grades used in the honing stone, they are much finer. Okay, so typically this is an example how electrochemical honing may be adopted. What we are doing, say this is my job. Okay, this is a hollow cylindrical job. This is this one. This is the job. In order to our understanding, I just taken out a 1/4 cutaway view of this job. Okay, and this is this setup will be helping us to do the honing process. Now this is made of a stainless steel tool. Okay, and here internally this is hollow. Okay, and one side this may be sealed. Okay, this will be connected with some thing so that it can have a rotational motion. Okay, and my intention target is to what? The internal this surface of this cylinder I want to hone it up. Okay, have a very good finish. So what I do it, this here, this stainless steel tool has a inside is hollow. This point is sealed. So electrolyte is entering through this. And here we have made some through hole up to the center. So through now, once electrolyte is enters through this, these holes will be the exit holes for the electrolyte. So through these holes, the electrolyte will be coming out. Fine. Now what we do, since it is going and this tool is also moving up and down, on the inner portions, you see we have already put some honing stone. There is special arrangement. Okay, these honing stones are basically spring loaded. Okay, at the back of the thing which is not visible, there are certain spring. So when the this tool is inserted in the gap, what will happen? Initially, these stones will be pressed again this wall of this internal inside the wall. Typically, depending upon the gap, we can have a gap spacing of something around 0.003 to 0.005. Okay, at the beginning. Okay, now this tool is rotating at the same time with reference relative to a steady or stationary job, it is reciprocating. So what will happen? The grinding stones or honing stones, they are already pressed against the inner wall. So they will keep on rubbing continuously, and since they are moving up and down and rotating, so entire inner wall will be pressed and gradually will be there. But since these abrasive particles are non-conductive, when the honing stones touches, there won't be any short circuit. As I said, in the ECM process, the tool is connected to the negative terminal and job will be connected to the positive terminal. And if the tool somehow touches, there will be short circuit, all my surface will be spoiled. But the surfaces do not touch. This will be ensured by the non-conductive honing grades. Okay, so when even if they touch, this gap will be maintained and the stones as such will not pass any electrolyte. So this is how it will be done. Okay, this is you see.
Is there a difference between polishing and honing?
This is a honing process. Okay, so honing process is a give a better surface finish compared to a grinding because your grid size is even smaller.
Okay.
Okay, so just I'll show you quickly some applications on this. Say, this is my, just think of you have a hollow cylinder, something like this, but somehow out of this hollow cylinder, we have this kind of a roundness error. This has to be corrected. How do you do it? Once, see, it may not be so much, but some roundness error is there. So what we there, since this wheel is rotating and it is moving up and down, now these four square kind of things, they are the four honing stones, and they on the back they are supporting by spring. So whatever may be the diameter, whatever may be the roundness, the honing stones are always going to, they are always pressed against the inner wall of the things. And when this zone will be flooded with the electrolyte, the gap, so honing stone, there will be electrochemical actions, and gradually, slowly, the material will be removed within the small gap given, and slowly this excess things will be evened out. Okay, so they will be removed from this zone, and it is rotating as well as, so that entire thing will be covered and they will get this kind of surface. This is about correcting the roundness error. Similarly, we can do the corrections for straightness error. Say here, the two vertical walls, what you call, there are lot of ups and downs, okay, unevenness. So here, this is one honing stone, this is one honing stone, there may be several others also. Again, they are spring mounted on the bottom and they are pressing against the job wall. So if the things rotates and reciprocates, so gradually with time we will be able to rectify the correctness error, okay, and get a correct surface, straight surface through the electrochemical honing actions. Okay, so here also suppose your inner board which is having some taper, means exit diameter or entry diameter, they are different. So in this case, if we made to press it like this, gradually, initially here the gap will be more, here the gap will be less. So here the more amount of honing action will be there at the bottom, okay, bottom portions. So gradually they will be evened out, and this whole things, the gap will be uniform, and we can maintain after the electrochemical honing process, the taper can be completely eliminated. So this is how some of the extended applications of honing we can apply accordingly and rectify this kind of errors on the job while you require a very high precision and so on. So electrochemical discharge machining, now working media is electrolyte.
Sir, just a doubt in the previous slide. The percentage of machining via contact and ECM is similar to the earlier application, like 80 to 90% by ECM. And
no, it is far less. See, as such, for our understanding, I have given such a huge roundness error or so much of straightness error or taper, but this will be very minimum. And honing capability wise, honing stones, okay, their size is also less, and we do not give so much of infeed and depth of cut. The pressure will be given by this spring actions, because more will be this is pressed, more will be this the local pressure will be there by the wheel. Okay, so compared to the grinding actions, of course, electrochemical grinding actions, honing is much lower material removal rate is involved there in the process, and in this kind of error corrections you don't require to remove a large amount of material. Okay.
I wanted to ask, sir, like the percentage of type of machining, like it's electrochemical and mechanical contact, right? So
okay,
is the
ratio wise,
contact,
see, for this kind of things is difficult to say. Okay, this may be slightly on the higher side by mechanical actions, but since the abrasive grades in between there are entrapped electrolyte and gap is even smaller than the your conventional your electrochemical grinding process. So for the given voltage, you can expect, because of the smaller gap, a higher current density. So dissolution rate also at the same time may be higher. At the same time, your abrasion at the same time may be slightly lower than the your grinding process. Okay, in case of honing, but you don't require to remove so much of material for honing process. Okay,
All
but
right.
exactly whether it is 10%, 20%, I think for this we cannot so effectively or precisely we can tell. In some cases, abrasions may be on the higher side, 20, 30% also could be there. Okay.
Okay.
But overall amount of material removal is far less, volume of material removal far less compared to grinding process. Now, here I am going to tell you about a process where we can have three involved process. One is what you call electrochemical discharge machining. So it will be basically a combination of ECM, it will be combination of EDM, and it will be mechanical abrasions, three together. So for this, as I already done in the for electrochemical for electro discharge machining, here also I am using a special type of pulsating power. What is the specialty? It is not a pulsating power where it is again during the off time it is coming to zero. Rather, during the off time we have pulse of same frequencies maybe, but during the off time it is not coming to zero. Maybe we are maintaining some background voltage, 20 or so, 30, 20, 30 volt I am there, and this may be around 100 volt. Why? Because we want during this background voltage, we can continue to have some electrochemical actions throughout this. Okay, whereas for the peak voltage, because of the high voltage, there will be some electrochemical discharge created in the gap. Okay, and that will be similar to the sparking process in EDM. Okay, at the same time we can have some mechanical grinding also, some situations. So it is, I'm skipping this. Let me concentrate on this electrochemical discharge grinding. Okay, so here you look at these things, it is very similar to electrochemical grinding process. Additionally, we have discharge grinding. That means how we are incorporating same wheel, same job. Okay, I think workpiece movement has to be okay, fine. It has to be, the job has to be in the wheel has to be rotated in the reverse directions, then only we can get, I think it has to be in clockwise direction in this case. Okay, then it becomes correct. Okay, so it is pulsating power with a background voltage. So what will happen because of the ECM action at the cathode, which is the cathode here, your grinding wheel, this special grinding metallic disc is your cathode. So there will be hydrogen bubbles which will gradually accumulate over here. Okay, and there is action, electrochemical actions with accumulation of the hydrogen bubbles, that their electrochemical actions tends to come down, because others will also join in this. Unless a hydrogen bubbles get positive hydrogen ion, becomes take up the electrons from the cathode, becomes neutral, and eventually escape this, then another hydrogen ions cannot take up the electrons up to from the cathode. Okay, so there will be a slowing of the process. But what we are doing in between, we are deviating and giving a very large voltage, amount of voltage, so that the gap being small and this gas blanket of these hydrogen bubbles, in the last class I've explained. So there will be a holding of the charge. This side will be positive charge, this side will be negative charge, and one side will be positive charge, other side negative. In between they will hold the charge just like a capacitor. So if you increase the voltage, then there may be breakdown within the electrolyte, and they will try to lose this charge and it will be carried as usually. Positive ions will go through the cathode and all negative ions go through. But in the process, during the pulse on time of pulse of high voltage, this on time, okay, they will create a spark, and the result is the similar to that we have in a EDM process. And also because of this, okay, this non-conductive grids, if the gap is small, at some points they would remove this, they would touch and remove material by abrasion as well. So together we can have three processes, okay. By proper control of them, we can able to make it entirely and optimize the process. Okay, it is possible. So typically one side you have ECM, which will be charge will be carried through the ions through the abrasive wheels, and it will be removed from the workpiece through these ions. For EDM, it will be through this spark, okay, and through the thermal action of the spark, and grinding when whatever the minimum number of grids touching the workpiece, those will be through the physical touching of the physical interaction of the abrasive grids with the your workpiece. So together they will give a better things. Okay. So today I'll like to conclude. May I take another 2-3 minutes? Okay, I'll conclude this thing so that this chapter can be concluded today. Okay, because we missed some classes on Tuesday. This is last process. I'm going to talk about the ultrasonic assisted electrochemical machining. Okay, what we are doing over here, this is the ECM workpiece. This went to machine, and there could be some specific type of workpiece for which such tool or ultrasonic vibrations will be useful. What we are doing, this is the media electrolyte plus into the liquid electrolyte, okay, solution. We are putting little amount of abrasive particles. So here there will be some abrasive particles will always be present over here. So additionally, rather than the tool gradually coming down and compensating for the gap that is created due to machining, so this will can be controlled by a gap control mechanism, servo mechanism. This can be done. But additionally, tool is continuously vibrating from a mean distance on the plus side, and this amplitude of the vibrations is very small. Okay, roughly within 10 micron, plus minus 10 micron, the tool will be vibrated. Okay, and but the frequency of the vibration will be in the ultrasonic range. Okay, very high frequency. Why we are doing? Because the tool through the abrasive grids actually going to, when they oscillates here, and since the gap is very small, the abrasive grids are going to hammer onto the things, and again because of the vibrations it will be auto withdrawn. Again they will come down and going to hammer and transfer the energy on the job onto the workpiece. Now this process is suitable for some particularly some brittle metal matrix composites. Okay, say for a handful of metal matrix composites, what is the composition of a composites? Here actually a metal matrix composites means you have some metal, molten metal, in which maybe through star casting or some other process, we induce some abrasive grids particles in that, so that when they solidify, these particles will solidify along with the abrasive particles. Such metal matrix composites are very hard because in case of any failure, these abrasive grids, which have a very high strength, they will give arrest the some failure at those locally. They will not allow the failure to propagate further. So there are many engineering applications where such metal matrix composites will be used. Okay, now if we want to have, suppose the workpiece made of such abrasive composite materials, typically the metal portion is conductive because all metals are electrically conductive and many of them are thermally conductive as well. but the abrasive particles are mostly non-conductive in nature. Now, problem when you try to machine such a hard material, which is difficult to machine conventionally, with a process like ECM, you want to machine it. How successful will it be? See, ECM can machine a material however hard is, irrespective of the hardness. But in this case, what will happen? The metal matrix can be dissolved by the ECM process very easily. But after some times, the embedded abrasive reinforcement, they will get exposed. And if the tool tries to come down further, it cannot come down further unless the exposed reinforced on the outer face, they are removed. So initially the machining rate will come down, and eventually if the grids are too big in size, they may remain embedded partly and still there, but further machining cannot be there. Or if the particles are small, with passage of time, the electrochemical dissolution will remove all surrounding materials, and slowly, without getting machined, the abrasive particles will leave the matrix and it will go into solution. That may be another possibility. But through such kind of ultrasonic assisted ECM process, what we can do it? I am electrochemically dissolving, but wherever these materials or inclusions we are unable to move by ECM process, so the hammering of the job or the locally the reinforcement particles, they are going to get the hammering things through the abrasive particles. So they will, they are very brittle, they are hard but brittle, so they will be removed, okay, by hammering process, so that as they are removed, then you can proceed the machining with the normal ECM process. So partly the metal matrix you are removing by the ECM process, and abrasive reinforcement into the matrix of the material you are removing by the ultrasonically vibrated tools. So this can work. So typically my working voltage is 3 to 15 volt. Current density could be something around up to 30 ampere per centimeter square. Frequency is the ultrasonic range around 20,000 times per minute. And you can have an amplitude of 8 to 30 micrometer. Okay, roughly around 10 micrometer is a normally we use. So the material removal rate will be depending upon these combinations, okay, value of these parameters. So it will reach its maximum level with minimum gap set, because it has to be hit. If you make a gap and try to vibrate, probably it will not help. So with minimum gas setting by the size of the statically pressed abrasive grains, beyond that actually we cannot go down further. So your gap will be determined what is the size of this abrasive particles that has been, average size that has been used in the matrix, and accordingly you set the gap. And as such, even if it tries to go down further, it cannot go, because there is a something physically will try to stop it, and there won't be any short circuit, and you need not have to any special short circuit prevention mechanism into the machine also. So this could be another approach of having some special materials through the ultrasonic assistance. Okay. So with this, actually I have given some flavors how hybridizations may help us to come to go for the new processes, and there are many such processes, but of course within a lecture of 1 or 2 lectures I cannot cover, and there is no need also. But the whole idea is to, at the end of this course, you should be able to appreciate, yes, there could be a hybrid process, I need things, there could be a hybrid process through which I can adopt, and this special machining can be done, or this special material can be processed with this. Okay, so with this I'll conclude today's lecture. Okay, if you have some questions you can ask right now. And if you do not have, I've already taken almost 10-12 minutes extra. Okay, but sorry for that, but thank you for listening. And okay, let us stop. Okay, because we are all feeling hungry. Okay, thank you. Then
we'll discuss the doubts in the next class. Thank you so much. We'll discuss the doubts in the next class, sir.
Okay, then let us discuss in the doubt in the next class. And next class already we will go into the micro domain, micro machining domain. Okay.
Okay,
We'll
sir.
talk. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm coming out of my presentation. Okay. Stop recording.